Good morning everyone and welcome to the class. We are doing the chapter The Cold War Era, and under this chapter we have discussed the complete chapter, and now we are doing the questions which are given at the end of the chapter. And we have discussed the MCQs. There were 4 MCQs, and we have discussed the multiple choice questions, and now we will discuss the 5th question. The question 5th is a very good question. It's a kind of HOTS, high order thinking skill question. The question is, the Cold War produced an arms race as well as arms control. What were the reasons for both these developments? So in order to answer this question, first of all you must understand the question itself. The question says that the Cold War produced an arms race on the one hand, and on the other hand it also produced an arms control. Both the things at the same time. Both these things are contradictory to each other. Arms race and arms control, है ना? एक तरफ आर्म्स रेस हो रहा है और दूसरी तरफ बात हो रही है आर्म्स कंट्रोल करने की। तो ये जो दो चीजें हम एक साथ देख रहे हैं, ये इसका क्या मतलब है? एक तरफ हम कह रहे हैं कि जो कोल्ड वॉर था उसके कारण आर्म्स रेस स्टार्ट होता है, दूसरी तरफ हम कह रहे हैं जो कोल्ड वॉर था उसके कारण आर्म्स कंट्रोल होता है। तो दीज टू कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी थिंग्स वर गोइंग ऑन टुगेदर. So why this was happening? What were the reasons for these developments? The question, है ना? Now how will we answer the question? The answer of the question will be in 2 parts. The first part will discuss why and how the Cold War led to the arms race among, not only among the superpowers, between the superpowers, but between the different countries of the alliances. And the next part will discuss how or why, first of all why we need to control the arms and how the arms are controlled. So we will first discuss the first part, arms race. We all know that the Second World War ended with the dropping of the nuclear bomb by US on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on 6th and 9th August 1945 respectively. And this nuclear bomb was dropped by America in order to contain the influence of USSR in Asia. Okay, so Second World War ended with the dropping of the nuclear bomb, and then we see that both the sides were aware that now we cannot afford the Third World War. So both the sides wanted to avoid war, but rivalry was there because in the world politics 2 superpowers emerges, and these 2 superpowers were almost equal in their powers in all spheres of life. So there was tension, conflict, rivalry between these 2 superpowers, and this tension, conflict and rivalry could not lead to the Third World War, because both the parties were very much aware that if Third World War occurs, then there will not be any winner or loser, because the destruction will be of so higher degree that a loser or winner will be equal. So Third World War was not at all desired by the superpowers, but rivalry was there. So what happened? This Cold War started. So because of Cold War, what happened? That the threat of Third World War reduced to a large extent. But still, what we find, कि Cold War was not something which reduced the rivalry between the 2 superpowers. Rivalry was still there. The only thing was that थर्ड वर्ल्ड वॉर के थ्रेट को इसने टू सम एक्सटेंट रोक दिया था, बट राइवलरी तो थी, म्यूचुअल सस्पिशंस वाज देयर, द एटमॉस्फेयर ऑफ म्यूचुअल suspicion was there. So in this situation, when we see that rivalry is there, conflict is there, confrontation is there, and mutual suspicion was there, so what happened that both these superpowers they increased their nuclear arsenal, though they were knowing that there will not be, there is very less possibility, very less possibility of starting of the third world war. Still they were always ready for the war because of the एटमॉस्फेयर, जो राइवलरी थी, जो म्यूचुअल सस्पिशन था, उसके कारण उनको हमेशा वॉर के लिए तैयार रहना था, भले ही वॉर हो चाहे ना हो, दैट इज नॉट द मैटर, बट they must be ready for the war. They must be equipped with so much weapons and so much high intensity destructive weapons that no one can think of attacking them, है ना, कोई सोच ही ना सके अटैक करने के लिए. तो उस लेवल पर जाने के लिए कि जहां पर कोई हम पे अटैक करने का सोच ही ना सके, उस लेवल पे जाने के लिए आपको बहुत ज्यादा वेपन्स को बढ़ाना होगा, और यही हुआ. एग्जैक्टली दिस was what happened during the Cold War period. What we find, जिस न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब को यूज किया गया था 1945 में हिरोशिमा एंड नागासाकी पे, 1950s आते आते दोनों ही कंट्री, दोनों ही सुपर पावर्स ने थर्मोन्यूक्लियर वेपन्स बना लिए थे. एंड दिस थर्मोन्यूक्लियर वेपन्स का जो डिस्ट्रक्शन का जो कैपेसिटी था, दैट वाज 1000 times bigger than that nuclear weapon which was used by America in the Second World War. सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर के लास्ट में अमेरिका ने जिस न्यूक्लियर वेपन को यूज किया था, उससे 1000 times ज्यादा डिस्ट्रक्टिव थर्मोन्यूक्लियर वेपन्स डेवलप किए जा चुके थे यूएस और यूएसएसआर के तरफ से 1950s में. तो जस्ट यू कैन इमेजिन कि किस तरह का आर्म्स रेस चल रहा था. ओके, एंड नाउ व्हाट वी फाइंड कि both the countries, both the superpowers were very much knowing that they are behaving in a very responsible and restrained manner, and because of this responsible and restrained behavior, there is very less possibility, almost there is no there is possibility of not starting of the third world war, but still war can occur. There can be situation, there can be different types of situation in which third world war can occur. Like there can be miscalculation by any superpowers of the nuclear arsenal of the another superpower. They can miscalculate कि उनके पास इतना ही है और ये काफ़ी कम है हमारे पास, जितना न्यूक्लियर आर्सेनल हमारा, जितना न्यूक्लियर वेपन है उससे ये उनका कम है. ऐसा मिसकैलकुलेशन उनको हो सकता है, एंड ऐसा सोचते हुए वो अटैक कर सकते हैं. एंड एक्चुअली क्या है कि किसी के भी पास कम नहीं है. अगर इस तरह की मिसकैलकुलेशन हो जाता है, उसमें अटैक हो जाता है, तो फिर पूरे वर्ल्ड का डिस्ट्रक्शन होगा, है ना. थर्ड वर्ल्ड वॉर जो है, दैट विल वी कैन से दैट कैन बी द एंड ऑफ कंप्लीट ह्यूमैनिटी. पूरे इंसान के जो लाइफ है वही शायद खत्म हो जाए अगर थर्ड वर्ल्ड वॉर हो जाता है. तो देयर कैन बी मिसकैलकुलेशन. नॉट ओनली दिस, देयर कैन बी मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग, देयर कैन बी एनी टाइप ऑफ मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ सुपर पावर, and this misunderstanding can lead to the third world war. Not only this, there can be nuclear accident as well, and this accident can also cause a high level of destruction. Not only this, there can be also such situation in which any soldier can start the war mischievously. So these types of situations can be there in which, in spite of behaving in a responsible and restrained manner, there can be war. There can be starting of the Third World War. तो अब ऐसे में क्या चीज़ की नीड हुई? जब हमने आर्म्स रेस किया, ठीक है, आर्म्स रेस तो हो गया, बट आर्म्स रेस के कारण जो डेंजर आ रहा है ह्यूमन लाइफ के लिए, अब जो सुपर पावर्स है उनको ये समझ में आया कि देयर इज नीड टू कंट्रोल द आर्म्स, और इस नीड के अकॉर्डिंगली उन्होंने बहुत सारे ट्रीटीज की फॉर डिसआर्मामेंट, फॉर एलिमिनेशन एंड फॉर लिमिटिंग सम of the weapons, like NPT हुआ, nuclear non-proliferation treaty was done in 1968. Then LTBT, limited test ban treaty, was also done 1963. Then SALT 1, SALT 2, START 1, START 2. So this is the story of arms race and arms control. How Cold War was responsible for both these activity. On the one hand, it was promoting arms race. On the other hand, it was promoting arms control. So this is your answer. And now we move to another question. The question number 6. Now the next question is, why did the superpowers have military alliances with smaller countries? There are 3 reasons. When we were discussing the chapter, we have discussed about it. The superpowers made alliances with the smaller countries. The most important reason was the Cold War itself. War was there, है ना? Cold War was there. Rivalry was there. So the main rivalry was regarding this, कि the ideology of a particular superpower is superior than the other. And how will they prove this, कि our ideology is superior than yours? How will this prove it? It will be proved by the number of countries which are their allies. If a superpower has more number of countries as their allies, then it is a kind of we can say proof that the ideology of that superpower is superior than the other. So the most important cause was the war itself. जो situation थी, जो circumstance थी, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली यही होना था कि अपने अपने इन्फ्लुएंस में नंबर ऑफ कंट्रीज को इंक्रीज करना, यही उनका मेन पर्पस था. बट देयर वर अनदर रीजंस आल्सो व्हाई दे वांटेड दैट दीज स्मॉलर कंट्रीज शुड मेक अलायंस with them. So the other reasons, the first reason was resources. The smaller countries which were rich in resources like oil resources, mineral resources, they were very important for these superpowers, because by making them their allies, these superpowers were in a condition to use the resources of these smaller countries. And when we are talking about resources, the most important resources are oil, natural gas, minerals, है ना? तो जब कोई कंट्री इनका अलाई बन जाता है तो उस कंट्री के जो भी रिसोर्सेज है उस पे इनका कंट्रोल आ जाता है. So that is the reason, one of the reasons. The another reason is the territory of the smaller countries can be used as military base, है ना? As we have seen in case of this Cuban Missile Crisis, Cuba which was an ally of USSR. The USSR tried to convert it in its military base, है ना, by keeping its nuclear weapons and missiles in the country. So it is also one of the most important reasons for making the smaller countries their allies, कि जो उनके टेरिटरी है उसको वो मिलिट्री बेस की तरह से यूज कर सके. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट जो रीजन होता है अलाई बनाने का वो है कि वो स्पाइंग पर्पस से भी उनको यूज किया जा सकता है. लाइक जो सुपर पावर है, दोनों सुपर पावर एक दूसरे से काफी डिस्टेंस है, तो ऐसे में अगर किसी सुपर पावर का जो अलाई है वो दूसरे सुपर पावर के पास में है तो वो उसकी टेरिटरी को यूज करके स्पाइंग के लिए भी इट कैन बी यूज्ड. तो दैट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट रीजन फॉर मेकिंग alliance with the smaller countries by the superpowers. So this is your answer. The three reasons we have discussed, the three reasons. Okay, and now we come to the next question. Next question it is also HOTS, high order thinking skill question. The question is, sometimes it is said that the Cold War was a simple struggle for power and that ideology had nothing to do with it. Do you agree with this? Give one example to support your position. So the question is a very good question, a very high order thinking skill question, because it is regarding the nature of Cold War. Cold War क्या था? Was it a war of ideology, or it was a simple struggle for power? What was it according to your opinion? And whatever is your opinion, you must support it with an example. Okay, so in this these type of question, yes, we will start the answer with this ki yes, it was it seems to be a war of ideology, because the ideology of both the superpowers were not only different but also opposite from each other. So the main purpose of the superpowers was to prove that their ideology is superior than the other. But what we find in actual practice, that many times this and this war of ideology was not actual. Actually, it was a struggle for power, because we can prove it by an example. The example is of the growing relationship between US and China. As we have seen, China, a communist country, it was in the Soviet bloc. But what we find that in the beginning of 1970 and at the end of the 1960s, the relationship between China and US starts to be growing, and this relation between China and US was kept a secret. As we have seen, Henry Kissinger made a secret visit to China via Pakistan. We have discussed about it. So this secret visit denotes that there something was going on between US and China, and USSR was kept in dark, while the country China was in the Soviet bloc, but it was having relationship with US. तो दिस प्रूव्स कि इनके बीच में ये पावर का स्ट्रगल था. अगर आइडियोलॉजी की लड़ाई होती तो चाइना एंड यूएस कभी भी साथ नहीं होते. एंड नॉट ओनली दिस, देयर वाज बॉर्डर इशू बिटवीन यूएसएसआर एंड चाइना, and there was a brief war also in the year 1969 between these two countries. So all these things prove that it was a struggle for power. And moreover, one more thing we can add, that if it was a war of ideology, then why there was only shooting wars? Why they behaved in a responsible manner? क्योंकि जब आइडियोलॉजी के लिए हम लड़ेंगे तो फिर हम सारी हदें पार कर देंगे. Why we will limit ourselves? What is the need to limit ourselves? If we are fighting for an ideology, then there is no need to limit ourselves. But they behaved in a very limited manner. They behaved in a very restrictive manner, in a very responsible manner. It proves that this was a struggle for power only. Okay, so this is our answer. It seems to be a war of ideology, but actually it was a war of it was a struggle for power. Okay, so this is your answer 7. ठीक है, अब हम लोग देखेंगे question number 8. The question number 8 is, what was India's foreign policy towards the US and USSR during the Cold War era? Do you think that this policy helped India's interest? So first of all, you have to say what was India's foreign policy towards US and USSR. Our foreign policy towards US and USSR was of non-alignment. We were one of the founding countries of the non-aligned movement. Pandit Nehru was one of the founding leaders of the non-aligned movement, and we have adopted the foreign policy of staying away from both the alliance system. But it was neither neutrality nor isolationism. India advocated active and positive participation of the countries through this non-aligned movement. Okay, and now we come to the next part of the question, that do you think that this policy helped India's interest? Yes, this policy helped India's interest, because what we find that India was able to take decisions regarding any international issue or any international matter according to its own national interest. It was not there to follow the national interest of the superpowers, because it was not a part of any of the alliance system. So it has nothing to do with the opinion or the national interest of the superpower. It was only concerned with the national interest of its own country, and it was able to adopt and follow the foreign policy according to its own national interest. Because we have discussed it, that whenever a country becomes an ally of another country, an ally of a superpower, then that country have to follow this foreign policy according to the interest of the respective superpower. That is not there. तो ये इंडिया के लिए इंटरेस्ट को सर्व कर रहा था. किसी भी मुद्दे पर हम वही कहेंगे जो हम कहना चाहते हैं, हमारा रिएक्शन वही होगा जो हम चाहते हैं, न कि जो कोई सुपर पावर चाहता है हम उसके हिसाब से कहेंगे. दिस इज वेरी पावरफुल, है ना. एंड द नेक्स्ट थिंग which we can say that India was able to serve its national interest by following this non-aligned movement was India was able to balance one superpower against the another. If any of the superpower ignores India or bully India, then India has the option to go to the another superpower. And both the superpowers are knowing this. They know that if they ignore India or if they bully India, then India will go to another superpower. So this is a very a decision taken by Nehru which was completely according to the national interest of the country, कि हम किसी भी सुपर पावर को ज्वाइन नहीं कर रहे, बल्कि दोनों सुपर पावर को हम बैलेंस कर सकते हैं बाय अडॉप्टिंग दिस नॉन अलाइंड मूवमेंट। हमें अगर एक परेशान करेगा तो दूसरे के पास जा सकते हैं। अगर हम किसी एक सुपर पावर को ज्वाइन कर लेते हैं एज एन अलाई, तो फिर हमारे सामने दूसरे सुपर पावर के पास जाने का जो रास्ता है वो बंद हो जाता है। और ये हमने नहीं किया, हमने नॉन अलाइंड को अपनाया, तो ये हमेशा हमारे सामने ये रास्ता खुला हुआ था कि अगर एक सुपर पावर हमारे अगेंस्ट हो रहा है तो हम दूसरे सुपर पावर के पास चले जाएं। दिस इज द रीजन द पॉलिसी ऑफ नॉन अलाइनमेंट ऑफ इंडिया वाज क्रिटिसाइज्ड आल्सो, because it is said that it is unprincipled. They are not following any of the ideology. They are opportunist. Yes, we are opportunists. We have been under the colonial rule for the past 200 years. And now when we got this independence after such a long struggle, again we will become slave of these superpowers. No, we were not ready for that, and this was a very clever decision. We can say yes, it was a clever decision on the part of Nehru, non-aligned movement. ठीक है, तो ये हमारे नेशनल इंटरेस्ट को इस तरह से सर्व करता है। एंड नाउ वी सी द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, जिसमें जो हमारा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है वो है NAM was considered a third option by third world countries. How did this option benefit their growth during the peak of the Cold War? तो first of all इसमें आपको ये बताना है how this NAM was a third option by the third world countries, because these third world countries are those countries which became independent after the end of the Second World War. And when after the end of the Second World War they became independent, what they were facing? The world was divided into two groups. One group is led by US and the another group is led by USSR. So in this situation they have two options, either to join US bloc or to join USSR bloc. But with the starting of this non-aligned movement, they were provided the third option. You don't need to join any of the superpowers. Even without joining any of the superpowers, you can survive. That is the third option, the option of non-aligned movement. So it was a third option, जिसने कि इनके इंडिपेंडेंस को बनाने में बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प की। कैसे की? नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज हाउ डिड दिस ऑप्शन बेनिफिट द ग्रोथ their growth during the peak of the Cold War? First of all we can say, अगर political growth को हम देखें तो सबसे important ये हुआ कि the countries who adopted this non-aligned movement, they were in a condition to follow to adopt and follow their foreign policy according to their own national interest. That is the political gain. Economic gain, as we have seen, this UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, this has published a report in the year 1972, and in this report the points which were raised, they were very much beneficial for this third world countries, because in this report it is said that the resources of these third world countries should be used by the countries only. The superpowers or the big powers should not be given control over the resources of these countries. Markets of Western countries should be open for the developing countries also, because when developing countries have opened their market for Western countries, then Western countries should also open their market for them as well. Then technological transfer of technology should be done at reduced cost. तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं ये इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ की बात कर रहे हैं। इकोनॉमी में इक्वालिटी के बेसिस पे इकोनॉमिक ऑर्डर होना चाहिए। तो इस तरह से जो रीकोलोनाइजेशन हम जिसको कह सकते हैं, बिकॉज ऑफ this starting of the Cold War and division of the world into two groups, it could have started recolonization of the third world countries, but by adopting this non-aligned movement, this process of recolonization was stopped and they were given ample opportunity to grow. So this is all for today. We will discuss other questions in the next class.